Hi, good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We'll wait for the pattern of feet to calm down, shall we? Okay, now that they're established, I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, so I thought, I'm down here working. I've got a custom order that I need to do. And I thought, well, it's been ages since I've popped up a dyeing video, isn't it? So I'm not going to go into technicalities of it, or I might do, we'll see. I've got 2 trays to dye. It's a large order for a very luxurious blend and an expensive one to boot. So it's a birthday present for themselves. You know who you are. I'll not mention no names, but you know who you are. So yeah, it's a birthday present to themselves, and the blend I'm working with today is Blueface Leicester and Mohair. Kid Mohair, I think it is, to be fair, and it's £9 100 grams. That's how expensive it is. That's before I've even done the work, like pre-soaked it, dyed it, and put on what I charge for that, which would normally be about £18.50, £19 roughly, so about double the price of what it costs to buy it. That just covers my fees. It's the same with anybody else out there. £9 a lot to buy, but once you've bought your stock, you've bought your dyes and stuff like that, and if you're doing it yourself at home, eventually your dyes obviously work for themselves, but if you're dyeing it specifically, it's going to cost you a lot more. Yeah, so I emailed her yesterday and says, we forgot to mention which way we're going to do it. Are we doing long colour changes or short colour changes? I says we could do a bit of each. Went, oh, good question. Let's go for short. So that's what I'm doing. I've got 5 colours. I will pop up the colour inspirations that she sent me. I think we've all seen these ones on Pinterest. I do use Pinterest. If you want to follow me over there, I'm going to start sharing what I do and when I'm putting colours together. It could be for my Christmas orders, it could be for summer inspiration, it could be for the Tour de Fleece, when the Tour de France is on, which actually takes place in the UK. They'll be coming through here at some point. Usually they're coming up the top road and they block off the road, and it's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, we do get cycling competitions through the Lake District up over to the west coast here over our side of Cumbria. Look it up on a map if you're not from the UK. It's a beautiful part of the coast, very cold. It's fucking chilly today. We've got a southerly wind. Thankfully, I say thankfully, I had to have my roof replaced the other week there in my bathroom, so it's not leaking anymore. So southerly rain, come and have at it. My roof's not leaking anymore. It only leaked when we came from the south. We came down from Scotland, so from north to south. It only rained when the rain came down that way. It's not so bad when it comes over the sea. Anyway, we've got a cold front coming in, and it's going to be -3 tomorrow and Saturday. Not looking forward to it. The fire's on already. Usually I don't put the fire on until about 4:30. And we've got rain coming. So I'll just finish off my last of my coffee. So I'll tilt you down and you can see what I'm doing. Now I've got 600 grams that I've got to dye up of this wool, this Roving blend. So I'm laying 300 grams in each tray, and I've split the 600 into 4 long rovings, so they're roughly, give or take, about 150 grams each. So I'll tilt you down. I have done my dishes. I have been soaking that since 6 o'clock this morning, this wool, in that sink. I've been up since 5, so I'm a little bit, woohoo. 3 cups of coffee, maybe Joe, not so much. Right, let me just tilt you down. Okay, so what I want to do first, here's my pre-soaked Roving blend. So I just want to find the ends of this before, so I can lay it out in the tray. I think so I just, I think that's one there, there's one, and the other end should be here somewhere. It's a really fine Roving, and obviously because of the mohair in there, it's very delicate, so I had to be really careful when I'm soaking it in the sink. Right, so I'm just layering it out, as you can see, up and down my large tray. These are just large. I'll see if I can remember to put the measurements, but I get my trays from IKEA. You can buy them online as well. They're just the really large family size roasting tins, and they have the handles on the sides in there. That's what I use. I have two sizes. I have the large roasting trays, stainless steel, and I have smaller ones, which I'm just going to shunty that over a little bit, which I use if I'm just doing smaller amounts. But these are great. This size is great for using when you're dyeing yarn as well, because you can have it laid out long and not crumped up too much. Right, so I'm going to go down here and up. Now I'm just making sure that they've got space to breathe, as in not so much move around, but for the dye to penetrate it, the fibres. But once the water gets onto this liquid from the dye stock, it'll really thin out, because it's just so flighty. I think, if I remember rightly, it's a 30-70% blend. I just move them over a little bit. So all I have to do now is put some citric acid on. Okay, so in actual fact, let me see if my little digital digital scales are actually working. Let's undo that. Put that there. Let me see if it's on. Okay, it's set for grams. So what I'm going to do is grab one of my little beakers. That's 35 grams. Reset that. There we go. That's sat back down to 000. And I'm going to get my citric acid scoop. And I always get asked, how much do you put in for your citric acid? So I'm going to weigh out how much this is a coffee scoop, you know, for your coffee percolator. Right, so okay, so this one scoop weighs 20 grams of citric acid. So that's generally how much I use per tray when I'm working. I'll leave that in there for the now. Right, so that's how much I generally use per tray when I'm putting my scoops out. So 20 grams is the answer. People always ask me. So I'm just going to put in a little sprinkle of water just to help. It's right hot this is. I'm going to have to fill the kettle up again in a minute. Actually, I'll do it now, because I'm going to need some more water in a minute to fill up my jars again. Right, so I've got two trays here, as you can see. So I'm just going to, but I can only dye one tray at a time. But I'm going to fill them both up the same colour row at the same time, so one's ready to go and the other one's ready to go. And I'm just filling it up again because I want some more hot water. For my pots of dyes. So I've got one batch of pots of dyes done already. Let's bring you down and we will get it on here. Hopefully my camera won't tilt off. Right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to fill up one tray with the colours that I've already got mixed up, and I use a little old spoon. So that's one dye. I'll show you the colours in a minute, but we'll just get these on here and laid out in the tray now. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to put my really dark colour in up here now. So I want to do this first, because just in case I need to top it up a bit with a bit more colour, but I think I might get away with it all right. And then again, I've got 5 different tones that I'm using. Of these dark plummy reds, pinks, maroony colours. Right, give that one a stir to make sure there's no resting dye pigment at the bottom of there. And I'll give that a manipulation in a minute with my hands. And then the last one, like so, and I'll repeat those dye colours in a minute, and I'll bring you over here to have a look. So I just want to get my hands in here, make sure it penetrates. Now this is Blueface Leicester. Blueface Leicester, a bit like Shetland wool, takes dye really well. The colourway that you'll get, and I'll show you the results of it once they're dried, the colours that you'll get from it, it'll be more muted dusky, but it'll still hold a strong colour. I'll get my tongs in a minute so I can just make sure that the colours are in underneath. Just grab an old towel as well. There we go. Grab an old towel and grab my tongs, and we'll have a little look-see to see if the colours are penetrated all the way through. And we want the colours to sort of bleed from one to the other just a little bit. So there's not a really strong colour change, as in like it's like a straight line. You want the colours to bleed in just ever so slightly into each other. Let's have a little look under here. Yeah, that's fine. Want to avoid having any whites in here, but because it's 2 different types of fibre, and Blueface Leicester's a lovely long sort of once it's been combed and stuff, it's a lot thinner, especially with this blend that's in here with the Mohair. It feels like a more flighty Roving. So I'll take you over the other side and we will see what colours I'm putting in this dye. Okay, so I've put the kettle back on because I'm going to need some proper hot water in a moment. So I've got my little spoots. Now, I don't use anything specific, but these I love. Can you see? It says, I'll try and turn you around to the light a bit. I don't know if you're able to see that. There's writing on there. One says pinch, one says dash, one says a smidge. And that's the spoons that I use, and I've used them for as long as I've been dyeing. So it's this one that I'm using at the moment. So I'm using a lovely, these are Dharma dyes, Valentine blush. So I'm doing 2 pinch of the Valentine blush, and I have got Berry Crush, and again I want really strong colours, you see, so I'm putting 2 of each of these in because I want it to really be nice and rich and bold. If I was wanting really muted colours, I would go for the little tiny one. So this one is Dharma Dye Bordeaux B dye lot. So I'm putting again 2 of those in. You'll check that's cooked then. 2 of those in. Now this one I'm doing a mix. So I have got blood red, and I'm putting 1 of those in with Cabernet in there, and then I'm also putting in half a spoon of my pinch in there with the last of my aubergine, because I've not got a lot of this left, but I wanted it to have more of a pinky undertone rather than the sort of a mucky brown or purpley colour. So there we go, that's in there, and that's those done. And I'm just going to wait now for the cup. Now these are 250 milliliter jugs, and these are the ones that I work with all the time. I do have some larger ones, but these are the ones that I work with all the time. And if I have to double up the thingy, then I try and keep my measurements to either one spoon, one like pinch, or the smaller one, or whatever, and try not chop and change the spoons that I use. Otherwise I don't put the right dye concentrate into the water, and then we're all fluffed up and nothing will work. Okay, so we'll just wait for this kettle and we'll get these filled in. Okay, so I'm just going to pour in that for now to make sure I've got enough hot water. There we go. So roughly about 150 millilitres of water I've poured in, so about halfway up the beakers, just to make sure that I've got enough. I'm just going to top this up with some tap water. I'm going to get my old spoon and I'm going to give that a stir, just to make sure that the pigments are dissolving in the water. Now I don't put my citric acid in at the same time as my dyes. If I was doing, actually I wouldn't even do it if I was doing massive stocks neither. I quite like to put my citric acid in either at the bottom of the tray before I lay the fibres in, or on the top once I've added the dye stock. I don't, you can do either, but I prefer to do it that way. There we go. And again. Oh, better get a piece of tissue for that. I'll get told off. Give us a sec. Oh, there we go. It's sorted, it's saved. Right, so we have got Valentine Blush, Berry Crush, Bordeaux Bee, Cabernet with Oxblood, and Aubergine with a touch of Cabernet. Sorted. That's all the colours that I'm using, and we're going to go back over there and get them onto the other tray, and then we can get them simmering. Okay, and another tip as well, make sure you keep the colours in the exact same order as you did them to start with. So it's always ideal to have your dyes laid out like what I had over on the other side, so that I know I'm putting them in the right order. Just a little bit of a pro tip. So we went with the really dark colour up top first. I remember this has had a dash of water added to this. Right, and then the very pale pink at the bottom. Go back up the top and do the dark one. Like so. Do the Berry Crush down here. And then the Bordeaux in the middle. Okay, so if you wanted to, I've got residue left in there, so if I feel in a minute that I need to chop this up a bit, then I can do. Right, so let's get my fingers hot again. Get them in there. And with that one sat there now, while I've been doing this, it gives a chance for all that dye stock to start penetrating with the heat into the fibres of the Mohair and the BFL while I'm busy doing this. Okay, and I've added the citric acid to the top of that one as well. So I'm just going to use my tongs again and make sure that these are to a point cross-contaminating, to make sure that they're blending in together and not just creating really, really strong straight lines. And then again down here. And I want to make sure that I have no bold sections where the dye's not penetrated into the fibres. So just give it a really, I'm not messing with it too much because I don't want the wool to felt, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any spots where the white hasn't penetrated, or the dye hasn't penetrated right through the core of the wool. Hence, leaving it to soak for a little bit is always a good idea. And that's why you always make sure it's fully soaked in the sink for a good few hours before you even start this process, because it just helps with the dye being able to actually successfully penetrate into the core of your roving. If you've ever tried dyeing rovings before, and you've let them soak and you've given them half an hour in the sink, and you put them in your dye trays, especially when they're like this and not in a pot and kettle dyeing or whatever you've seen me do in the past. In here they're more contained and restricted from movement in the water, whereas if they're in the big pot, they've got free flow of the mass of water that's in there. So when you're doing this, you need to make sure they're thoroughly soaked all the way through, right into the middle, because the wool will squeeze together. So you may end up with sections that have still got white in. So you're just wanting to make sure that it's penetrating right into the centre of that roving. So by letting it just sit there and rest for a bit, you're actually helping yourself. Right, so fingers crossed these go the way that I hope they do. You never know. I'm going to put in some more citric acid, and I'm going to give this just a few more minutes to rest. I'm using this beaker just so you can see how I scatter it around, and the heat of the dye stock solution as well helps dissolve the citric acid crystals. Now these are food safe. These are the same citric acid that you find in food. It's food grade citric acid. You find them in food. You find it if you make bath bombs at home yourself. This is the exact same stuff. It's not an acid that you buy from pharmaceuticals or anything like that. It's citric acid. You'll find citric acid is used in a lot of food, sweets, sour sweets, all sorts of stuff. This is food grade safe citric acid. So when you're talking acid dyes, it's the acidic level of the pH balance that is the acid. Okay, it's not an acid. You can put your hand in it. It's not going to hurt you. It makes your skin a bit dry if you're doing it constantly and over and over and over again. I'm a small batch dyer. I do custom dyes. I do specialty and limited edition dye jobs. I do dye job lots for guilds and workshops and things like that. So I'm a small batch dyer. I don't dye like a kilo of one colourway or anything like that, like you get a lot of yarn dyers out there that do that. They're doing multiple trays at one time of job lots. That's not how a person like myself works. Everything that I do is unique. So that's why I would say if you're looking for a larger custom blend, or you want to guarantee that the roving you buy, like this one, 6 100-gram rovings, they're all from the same dye batch, just like you would do if you were buying wool from the wool shop. Right, so that's had a soak. I'm going to turn that heat on now and just wait. I'm going to turn it down a wee bit. I'm going to stick my kettle back on. Oh, no, he's gone off. He doesn't like going down too low too quick. That's his problem. I'm going to stick my kettle on. I'm going to go off the mix, have a little brew. You can see the steam already starting to come up, so I don't like that. I can hear it popping. You can hear it popping now. Hear that? So yeah, it looks awful red on the camera, but I swear it's not. It's really pinky. It might be the light ahead that's giving you the illusion that it's red. It's not. But I will let this do its thing and then put the other tray on, which I'll catch you in a bit. I'm going to go and pop off and have a cup of coffee, and I'll get back to you in a bit. So you've just got the tray's on a really low heat, and there's not much else I can do at this moment in time. Just wait for the colour to start taking in the saturation, and then we'll end up hopefully with a clear colour. But when I come back to this tray in a minute, I'll have a quick natter with you. So I've got the second tray on. The first batch is in the sink soaking now in some water and a little bit of fabric conditioner, and let's see if we've got the colour starting to fade. Yes, it's starting to go now. I could probably do with sticking a bit more citric acid on there. I'm going to just spin this around so the heat starts to penetrate the middle section. See, we've still got colour going in there, and obviously I haven't even started on this end yet. So I just turn the tray round every so often, just so that because it's such a big tray, as you can imagine, it covers 2 rings. So I use my main ring in the middle, which is actually a wok ring, so it's really big and has a big flame off of it. So I just spin my tray around so that the heat distribution is fair, otherwise it would just sit in the middle and it would actually scorch not just the tin but the wool as well. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, and you can hear it popping every so often. So it's not boiling, it's more on a low simmer. If anything, that flame is on the lowest setting it can go to, and you can see the heat's like a volcano. It's steaming out through the gaps that it can get through, and every so often you hear these pops going on from the energy of the water. So that's what stage I'm at the moment. So I'm just going to add a little bit more citric acid into that. I think just half a scoop, so 10 grams. We started at 20. I'm going to stick 10 grams on, and hopefully that'll help that start to react a bit quicker than it already is. But that's been on there for about 10 minutes now on a really low simmer. So I'm happy now that this has been done. It's taken probably, because it's obviously I've doubled up the strength of the dye, it's taken about half an hour to get these to penetrate and saturate through. Can you see that water's clear now? Let's see, up here, got a little bit of tiny cast off, but I think that's as much as this wool is willing to take, because you do have to take that into consideration. If you use like X amount and double it up, if you triple it, then you're never going to exhaust all the dye stock. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I like to use my little spoons, because for me they're tried and tested. Oh, that's clear now, that's clear, and that's clear. Try and push that over a little bit, there we go. For me, my measurements are tried and tested, so I know that if I use my tiny spoon or my middle spoon and double that up, I know that the wool is going to saturate all that dye pigment. Maybe a tiny little bit cast off, which should come off, that will come off in the soak now before it goes off to get dried. So I'm going to go and stick these in the sink. I've just got a standard fabric conditioner, just half a cap in there because it's concentrate. Actually, it's not even half a cap, it's a quarter of a cap of fabric conditioner in the sink. I'm going to soak them to help drain off any of the excess of the citric acid and the dye stock that could still be sitting in there deep inside the wool. And then I give them a quick wring out and then get them put on the fire guard in the living room. So it's the next day, and the Rovings, the 600 grams that I dyed up yesterday, are all dried now, and I'm just about to get them packed away to get sent off for my customer. So there we go. You can see all the different colours in there. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, when you're dyeing wool in a tray, regardless of whether it's 100 grams, 200 grams, you may find that you don't get complete saturation because of the way that the fibres are laying the tray. They're compressing against each other, and then it's not till you pull it and you think it's completely covered, completely saturated, and the dye's got in it, and you look in the tray and you pull bits apart and you're like, right, yeah, that's gone in. Now these are really, really pale pink, okay, but I've got section here which was turned in to the roving. It's the centre part of the roving, that bit never got covered. Now my customers know that when you're looking for short colour transitions like that, it can come out with a little bit of the natural colour through there, but if you want to colour short colour changes, it's turned out really, really pretty regardless. Really pretty regardless. I've got the light coming in. It's actually a lot darker in real life. Here's another piece here from the same dye tray. Yeah, so one side struck really, really well, and one tray was a little bit off and out, but you can do your best. They're all sat in the tray. I could have maybe gone with just 150 grams in the tray in the large one, but I may have found that the internal side of the roving was not completely saturated, even though I'd left both of them for half an hour for the dye to completely penetrate through. They'd be completely soaked and they'd be marinated in the warm water for like 3 hours yesterday morning. So yeah, you can only do your best. If I wanted if she'd have opted for a long colour change, I would have dyed them differently. I'd have got a big pot and I'd have filled up it in sections and pulled the wool through and done another. So I'll show you that version again. There's plenty of videos on here, you should be able to find them in the dye list, in my playlists in the dyeing section. You may find them also in my Patreon bats, storyteller bat section playlist as well. I'm still trying to move videos around into different playlist sections on the YouTube platform at the moment, because I'm just trying to rejig things around a little. So yeah, there we go. So that was Blue Faced Leicester 70% with Kid Mohair 70%. You can see where the Kid Mohair sections are, because it's really, really glossy. And if you've never spun Blue Faced Leicester before, it's an absolute dream, and it's really, really quick to spin up. It spins itself. It's just so delightful to work with. As a beginner, I probably wouldn't go with it because you may find it a little bit too slippery. Use a drop spindle if you're new. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely wool to work with. Yeah, so that's about it. While I'm here, I will let you know my pre-orders for my Easter bundle sets are now live over on the website at www.woollycottage.com. The links are always in the description, well, at least the addresses are. Sometimes the links don't work. Drive me nuts. So yeah, you can pop over the website and you will find there's a page at the top. There's a drop box, a menu drop box. You hit that, and it's 3 lines. Whether you're on your computer or from your mobile phone, hit the drop box and you'll see Easter bundle sets page. Click on that, and I have I've done things a little bit different this time. I took a bit of a hiatus off from doing Easter bundle sets with one thing or another in my private life. So last year I didn't do any at all. This year we've come back, but we're doing it a little bit different. We've got 4 colour options for you to choose from. So I'll put the pictures up here now, okay? So you've got Fiddlehead Green, you have Cherry Blossom Pink, you have Crocus Purple, and there is Dandelion Glow. So there's a little bit of something for everybody in there, and there's these pictures that you will come across over on the website, and they'll be inspired from the picture selection that's all in one. Okay, not only do you have to make that choice, I have 2 price brackets. One price bracket will be the bundle set that you've ordered, plus it'll come with a hand sewn item from Woolly Cottage from me, and it'll also come with your extra add-ins, a bit like a Christmas advent, okay? And they'll be gift wrapped, so it's a bit more of a surprise for you just getting out of winter, making it through winter. Or there's the other option, more budget friendly option, which is cheaper because it has got any frills or chills in there, okay? They'll be gift wrapped. I'll wrap them in tissue paper for you, so there's still a bit of a surprise, but they won't come with any extra add-ins, little treats and things like that. and it won't come with a Woolly Cottage project bag or whatever it is that I come up with for making to go in with those. So you've got two price brackets of those. One's called Easter packs, and the other one's called Easter bundle sets. Okay, so you've got that to make. The other option is, so not only you've got your colours to choose from, but you also your budget. But now you have to choose whether you want blended rovings. So I've got a list here. I'm going with Polworth alpaca and Tussar silk blended roving, superfine merino and mulberry silk roving, blueface Leicester and Seacell roving, and Rambouillet and mulberry silk roving. So you've got 4 different breeds that you'll be getting. Nice luxury blends as well, something that you might have tried yourself at home before, and they will all dyed in the colour versions, and I will be making sure that they will complement each other so that you can actually use them in one project. So those are the blends for the rovings. You could also opt for the art back version, which you will get. It'll be merino based, okay, hand dyed based as well, usually 70% hand dyed and blended with other silks, plant-based fibres, hand dyed fibres. I'm not going to put sparkle in because a lot of my customers don't like Angelina, so I'm going with the safe option and not adding any in at all in those. Then the other option is 4-ply yarn. So I just want to say as well, you're getting 4 100 grams of everything. 4 100 grams of art bats, 4 100 grams of luxury blended rovings, and 4 100 gram 4-ply yarns. The 4-ply yarns will be a merino based blended yarn, so it might have stellina in there, it might have bamboo in there, it might have tencel or nylon or whatever. I'll make those options depending on how many are ordered. So yeah, so they're all live on the website now, so go and pop over. I will be closing them, the pre-orders down for the Saturday the 28th of February. 2 reasons. I know that Easter's not until the first weekend in April, but I have overseas customers, American customers, Canadian customers, so I have to make sure that they're all done and ready. It could take anything up to a week for me to receive my stock order. So I don't want to take any chances, so that will take me well into the first, going into the second week in March for me to put the order in. By the time I get that, and I've got to dye it all and then blend it all, then I'm taking me into nearly the 3rd week of the month, and I have to get them all posted out. Okay, so that's the reason why I put the listings up now in February. If you're opting for the bumper set, okay, the one with an item from me, I do an installment plan, and it's a non-refundable deposit and a shorter payment that has to be paid at the beginning of March. So if you're finding it hard that you can't pay for it all in one go, just give me a shout, drop me a DM on my website in the chat box down the bottom corner, or you can reach out to me over on Instagram. I'm always around. You don't get chat bots on my website, it's me you're actually talking to. Anyway, I better go and pop off and sort this out, get this packed up and booked in, and I'm just going off to go and sort out a bunch of new listings, and I've got a load of new bags just gone onto the website as well if you're interested. Might as well show you them here. You can catch me tomorrow over on Instagram. I do a live chat every fortnight over on Instagram. So I have got these lovely pearlescent bags, box bottoms with swivel handles as well. Apparently they're really handy if you want to go upstairs with your knitting at bedtime and you want to hold your coffee at the same time. What else ones? I've got some other new ones which are here, and I want that out to go in with my order. Where are they? Here we go. So you have that one there with a faux leather moleskin effect fabric at the bottom, again boxed in. And we have, I added in some of these with RHS fabric, Royal Horticultural Society. You can see the pearlescent, so I've got a blue and mint left. I have a lime green and pink left. Pink, yes it is. And then I have the cream version as well, and they're Royal Horticultural Society project bags with their official fabric. I have got metallic plum, and a lilac base and pearlescent. And I think I've got a couple of more down the bottom here. Oh, this fabric is like a woven linen with the moleskin faux leather, so it's vegan friendly. And again here, these are just popped in a bag so they're out the way for the moment, so they need to go in some bags until I get them packed away properly. So there we go, that's my little quick brief shop update if you're looking for any new project bags. You don't have to use them for knitting, they're brilliant as gifts as well. You can fill them up with your foundations and spa treats for a friend, and use them as a Christmas a birthday present or anything like that. Valentine's this weekend as well, so you can use them as makeup bags, hairdressing bags, weekend away bags, like little bits and pieces that you want to take, toothbrush and all the rest of it. So yeah, so the multiple use, you don't have to just use them from knitting bags. So I'm going off before my coffee gets too cold, and I will catch up with you in a week's or so time. Don't know if I'll be able to get any videos filmed up next week. Our road out the front of the house is getting torn up by the national highways and relaid and configured. So I might not be able to have any peace and quiet to get any videos filmed. But watch out, I will be doing a blending back video next. Superwash merino and nylon blending and then spinning in that up. Yeah, I'll be doing that as early release for Patreon. But they'll get the dyed version of that as well, because it'll be a handspun versus mill yarn video. So yeah, you'll be getting the spinning and the blending version of it, which is always handy for YouTube anyway, because you guys want to always know how to do bits and pieces on your drum carder. Right, I'm going. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you on the other side. Bye for now.